With help, lift the board into position. Fasten the board to the wall. Ensure proper backing or support is in place, and ensure the board is level. With a multi-pump closed-loop system, the number, type, and size of takeoffs will vary. You may have multiple manifolds in a concrete floor. You may have an air handler, or an indirect hot water tank, etc. If connecting to a manifold, be sure to identify the supply and return pairs. For zones with a manifold, connect the PEX loops in your floor to the manifold. Be sure to identify the supply and return pairs. This can be easily checked by blowing into one end of the pipe and finding its mate. Cut the pipe to length, leaving a bit extra. Slide the nut and split ring onto the pipe. Ream the pipe and grease the manifold adapter O-rings. Thread the nut onto the manifold by hand. Repeat for all supply and return pipes. Snug the manifold adapter nut with a wrench, but be careful to not over-tighten. Mount the Glycol feeder mounting bracket to the wall. Set the Glycol feeder on the bracket. Thread in the supplied push-fit adapter to the half-inch threaded connection at the top of your Glycol feeder. Use half-inch PEX pipe or copper. Connect the feeding system to the fill port between the air eliminator and expansion tank. Start the filling process by filling the primary loop. Close the ball valves to all zones. If you purchased a Glycol feeder with your system, this is a simple way to fill your system. Remove the Glycol feeder lid and, using a funnel, fill the Glycol feeding system reservoir. Connect the power cord and plug it in. Press the power button and adjust pressure to 15 psi. The system will begin filling. Have your electrician temporarily wire your pumps so they can be plugged into an outlet. Plug in the main circulator on the primary loop to start filling and purging air. While the system is filling, check for any leaks. Keep an eye on the level of fluid inside the feeder. You may need to refill several times, depending on your system and how much fluid it needs. Once the primary loop is full, we can begin opening the takeoffs. Open the valves to one takeoff at a time. As you do, plug in the related pump. You will hear air and water moving around the system. If an airlock occurs, try opening and closing a ball valve on the pump flange, or carefully loosening the bleed screw on the front of the pump. Open until you get air or water out of the bleeder. When you get only fluid, you can close the screw and repeat the process as needed. It is nice to have a rag handy to catch the fluid. Note, it's completely normal for the Glycol feeder to cycle on and off throughout this process. Open the manifold valves with the Allen key under the hex cap on the manifold. It will be fully open when it is flush with the top of the threaded seat. With the Allen key, close any unused manifold ports and cap the open ports. Open the manifold valves by turning the white caps counterclockwise. Close any unused manifold valves by turning the white caps clockwise. Check for leaks. Your boiler is now ready to have the main power connected by the electrician. All thermostats, zone controls, and the optional outdoor sensor can now be connected. See alternate video for zone wiring instructions. Note, if your boiler is 15 kilowatts or larger, set the multi-fuel switch on the front of the boiler to electric. Depending on the volume of water in the system, it is normal for electric boilers to heat up slowly over time. You will not see temperature come up instantly, but rather gradually over time. Thank you for choosing Heat Innovations.